last time you stuck out your tongue and caught a snowflake? Well guys, I do know by asking that question, I'm assuming you were around snow and playing with it and catching snowflakes on your tongue. Well, today is Watercolor Christmas card painting day number 11, and we're going to be painting a cute fox jumping around, playing in the snow, and catching snowflakes on his tongue. And you might think that really strange behavior for an animal, but our collie dog, when he was a puppy, did just that. Okay, so I think we're almost ready to paint, but I do have some comments to make before we dive into the painting. And so 3 comments. My first comment is, as always, you can look in the description below, get the full list of all the materials that you need. That means the paper, all the pigments, the brands, the masking, everything is there, I hope. Okay, the other 2 comments that I do want to make before we start painting are related to pigment. So the first one has to do with the list that we're going to be using today. We're going to be using 6 pigments, but technically we only need 5 of them. So as you guys know, 2 paintings ago I ran out of my Daniel Smith, and so I had to switch out some paints and start using some Winsor Newton. Well, there are positive things about that. So when we now mix the new Winsor and Newton combinations, we can get a different color combination. So with the Indanthrene Blue and the Burnt Sienna Winsor Newton, both of them are Winsor Newton, I can get a black. And the reason is, when you have a blue and you have the transparent red iron oxide, which is the Burnt Sienna, it's PR101. When you have those 2, you're going to get a black. Now you see that I still am using my Payne's gray in this list, and this is because I really like this Payne's gray. It's really clear, it's semi-transparent, it's vibrant, and when I mix the Indanthrene Blue and the Burnt Sienna, it's not quite as powerful. So I'm going to be using this for the little black marks around the eye, just because I want nice sharp colors. So yeah, this is a convenience color for me. So when you guys are choosing your colors, you can think about, my colors blend differently than Cheryl's, and so I'm going to use different colors. Good. So it means that you're evaluating your colors and you're going to mix out different colors that are more suitable for you and your painting. That's great. Okay, now the third comment I'm going to make related to pigment has to do with this Cobalt Turquoise light. This is a Winsor Newton, and let me show you. I also have the Daniel Smith version of this one. Several months ago I ran out of the Daniel Smith, and so I went and I bought the Winsor Newton. However, there is a big difference in their characteristic, and I do want to talk about that. In this painting series, I have used this pigment. It's called PG50. That means Pigment Green 50. Both of them have exactly the same. There's no blends, but they do paint differently. The Daniel Smith, when I paint with it, is actually a semi-transparent. It makes a nice glaze. But when I switched it out for that Winsor & Newton, I just couldn't get that translucency that I was getting before. So the Winsor & Newton is actually a semi-opaque, which makes a big difference. So for this painting, I am consciously choosing the Winsor & Newton version, even though I do have the Daniel Smith, that's my preferred brand, because, let me show you something. So for day 2, we painted this background, and there were these 3 colors. There was the Indanthrene Blue, the Cobalt Turquoise Light, Winsor & Newton. The Indanthrene Blue was Daniel Smith, and then I used the Phthalo Green. And so the Indanthrene Blue and the Phthalo Green are really powerful colors. And I wanted a powerful pigment also to compete with them, and that's why I chose to use my more opaque paint to blend in. So this is just another FYI. When you're choosing your paints, you might want to consider the opacity or the transparency. So there's many considerations to choose. Those are not just those 2. But yeah, that's a small discussion for today. Okay, so I guess we're ready to begin. And just the FYI, I'm choosing the Winsor Newton, the more opaque version for my background for this particular painting also, because again I'm going to be using this dark blue, this Indanthrene Blue, in the background to make kind of a mottled, soft, wintry scene. So I'm going to have, you can see that these blues don't blend well. So one is a warm and one is a cool blue, although it's a green. Anyway, I'll mix those in the background and we will create this kind of softness. So guys, we're ready to paint. You can sit back, kick back, and enjoy the show. And for those of you who would like the full tutorial, I am reopening my Patreon at the end of this month.